Shit.
Happy Sunday and welcome to another edition of GunjurBIz. I'm your host, Abubacarr Jammeh of Gunjur Online, and thanks so much for joining us on this beautiful Sunday. Um, Over the months, the Gambia, the world has experienced huge changes when it comes to businesses and how businesses are being run. And there are a bunch of folks that are championing all these crusades that helps to put food on the table for our families, but also in addition to that, helps to create job for people that are serving our communities and our countries. Today, will be the first time that we're having on GunjurBIz a female entrepreneur who is a mom, and she is a proud Gambian and also someone who is so passionate about business and entrepreneurship, encouraging young people to be part of that. There is no other person other than Kadi Scattrell Jane, who will be joining us shortly and to talk about who is Khadijane and also to talk about her journey into the business world. Kadi Jaban Skatrel Jane, welcome to GunjurBIz.
Thank you, Abubacarr, for having me.
Thank you. It's going to be fascinating having you as the first female entrepreneur that we're having on GunjurBIz. We had a couple of guys who've been here and we talked about business. Most of the time, based on the backgrounds and how everything fits, usually we always have some divergence of views when it comes to social life, when it comes to business, when it comes to politics, and when it comes to decision making. And business is a huge part of that. So we are thrilled to have you today, and we can't wait to get going and talk about perspectives from your end when it comes to business. So if someone is watching me today and said, "Hey, who is Kadi Jabang Skatral Jane? Are you from Gunjur?"
Actually, I'm from Tujereng, the Gambia.
Right.
I'm married to Ibrahim Ajane is from Gunjur, and we're both naturalized British citizens, and we live in Leeds, United Kingdom, with our 4 ugly girls.
Amazing. Unfortunately, the girls couldn't come and defend themselves here, but we will try to play a role where they can also have the opportunity to come here. Thank you,
I
Kadi,
hope so.
for the perspective.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
No, no, I was going to ask how your livelihood, your childhood days started back home in the Gambia, in Tujereng to be specific, and how that shapes you to become a woman that you are today, raising beautiful kids that you can just sit here confidently and tease them. How does that life started? Because usually when people say, "Oh, naturalized British citizens," they actually have a kind of a thinking that okay, probably they're probably not even accustomed to things that we've been doing before, and they don't even have it in their life, daily lives most of the time. So, what was your childhood like?
Well, I had a normal childhood, like anyone who's had a childhood from Africa.
Hmm.
Exciting, exotic. You know, you have loads of friends and family. You play day and night. You hardly have got any access to any books to do any reading of any kind as such. And but it was very educative in terms of like what they teach you as a child, or what the whole society teach you. So
Hmm.
it makes life a lot more easier for you to integrate into any society that you live in. I think my childhood did help me to settle and integrate into the my new home now. You have families and you have friends that will help you with anything. And I think I still got that that's my personality. That's the personality that shaped who I am today. And that's the reason why I am who I am today, helping people and doing what I can do for my community where I live in Leeds here, and anywhere else where I can reach to. So yes, I think my I had a very happy childhood. I used to have male friends, and they're very
Right.
competitive in terms of like academics, and that did help me a little bit, I
Hmm.
guess, because we come back for summer holidays and they ask you, oh, what position did you take in class, and you're like, you don't want to say like you're at the bottom,
Right.
because the whole of the holidays they will be laughing, or they'll be like calling you names and making sure that you do a lot more than what you had the year before. So yeah, I think I came from one of the best cities, better than I think
we,
in terms
we,
of comparing it with Gunjur, I think Tujera is the best. You know, we had running water from like since
we will
early
pass that.
80s or early 90s. Yeah.
We were actually gonna pass that. So it's exciting because most of us have lively I mean the childhood times that was more of the nurturing us to be disciplined, to respect other people, to be kind to other people. And these are teachings that stays with us for the rest of our lives. It helps us to integrate in foreign environments, and we become normalized citizens. We become people that lives there and still have the opportunity to integrate because of the discipline that was put in us, the acceptance that was put in us, the hard work that you go to school and you still come and do some work at home. And that doesn't stop you from staying up really late at night to make sure you excel academically. So transitioning back from your childhood time in a village to school. Did you started your first primary education back then in Tujereng?
Yeah,
How
I
was
went
that
to
experience?
yeah, I went to Tujuran Primary School, and then later I went to junior school at Kotu High School. Well, then it was Kotu Middle School,
Hmm.
and then I went to Muslim high schools to do my grade 12 exams in 1999, and then shortly after I traveled to the UK to further my studies.
Hmm.
And
And after arriving in the UK, how challenging was it? How was life? How different academically? I know Gambia has a British curriculum, but once you change the environment, that cultural shock and everything, how challenging was that to integrate in a British system, which is just the opposite of the Gambian system?
To be quite honest, I think and like every migrant will relate to what I am saying. It is quite challenging. You come back, you come from a background where you can hardly speak. Well, you go to you from grade 12, you can speak some English, and you hardly have any like access to any books to read outside of the curriculum of the
Right.
grade 12. You just study for exams, literally, and then you come in and into like a new system where it's mostly research based, or you've got to read a lot more. And I find that difficult. I did find it difficult at the beginning to like to read, or to do like a wider reading, or to understand the culture was different. What I know as a child, things that I know, I've got to learn a lot more, and I had to learn fast to adapt to the new system. And but yeah, I think it was to reflecting back, they one of the some of the best memories were like when I just arrived, and the people that I met, how they helped me integrate. And I in that inner circle, I find a husband. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes most of us are lucky to have people that host us and speaks the same language most of the time, eat same kind of food, so it helps you to do that. Especially now, I know back then, I'm not sure how long you've lived in the UK, but I can pretty much say that those days it's not everywhere that you can find a Gambian. Um, it probably would be very few places to find a Gambian. So I'm glad that you were fortunate enough to meet people that helps you to settle down and stuff. So how was your academic journey like in the UK?
Well, I when I came, obviously I did I wanted to study business administration, and then my brother did try to convince me to do nursing. I'm thinking, right? Oh no, I didn't want to be a nurse.
Hmm.
Um, and so I did an access course at Thames Valley University in back then in Slough, and then I moved to Bedford, and I did a diploma in business. Then later on I moved to Leeds, where I did a degree in business and management, and then I went back and did an MBA in business and administration in Leeds Met. So yeah, things happen. You've got to adapt. You know where you come from, and then you've got to you. I had to quickly adjust and thought, right, okay, I didn't want to be I didn't want to just come in and settle and not have a qualification or a degree. I think to be quite honest, I would say like part of the inner circle that I came to, my host, all of them were like into education really.
Hmm.
So I wanted to go and work and do other things, but they wouldn't just give me a breathing space, to be quite honest. Everyone was like, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I'm grateful. Really grateful that I did that. I think if you should send me to university now, I don't think I'll be able to do anything, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think one thing that you just mentioned, that's pretty crucial. Like everyone who is watching out there, if you're young and you have ambitions to travel, especially for studies, I would encourage everyone, especially girls, to really look at your inner circle. I think it's the most important thing that a lot of people neglect. You can see people smart they are, but if they're not in an environment that helps and support and people around them are not having the same vision as them, like they're not folks that really looked into education as a way to get yourself out of poverty or to develop yourself, it can deter you from pursuing things that really are meant for you. And it's really important that you mentioned that the support system around you, I think, is always very crucial to to make us who we are. I've seen folks, who were the smartest at the childhood, but as they're growing older, they get to be in situations or environments that really are not supportive for that, for the academic excellence. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. Before we go further, I know you have a bunch of fans out there who are joining us, Jayo and bunch of folks saying great stuff about you, Yama Jawara, DJ Ga, and everyone that's watching, Nima Jalo, Modu Kamara. I'm sure most of these folks you already know, Yama Juara, and we welcoming them to be part of this show. I know you are a very, very loved person, so definitely we thank them for joining us. And yes, that's
Thank you.
Khadija.
Thank you, guys.
So transitioning from that, when you were going to university, especially when you were doing your master's degree, I know a lot of people that would just study for one thing, but they end up doing something else. You mentioned about one of your family members wanting you to do nursing, but you pursued what you wanted to pursue, which is very, very important because in the long run, later on in life, you want to be doing things that you feel happy doing. You can look forward to in the morning, take shower, and just get ready to go get it. How was that decision like? Did you at some point regretted why you studied business instead of nursing?
To be quite honest, I'm not sure. I don't think I will be a good nurse even if I had to, even if I had studied nursing.
Right.
I up until like a couple of years ago, I used to say to my friend that how I hate caring, and then obviously the story changed. But yes, I'm not the caring type at all. I think from childhood, my childhood friends will know I used to sell anything from. I used to take stuffs to school to sell, or after school I will just, my mom used to have a shop, and then she will trust me to look after the shop
Hmm.
after school, and she will motivate me and give me some small money to like buy something. I will invest that money, and then I will buy my own eat clothes and all that. So I think reflecting back, I could see like I've ever wanted to be a business person or businesswoman. And so when even from primary school, when they ask people, like when they ask you, oh, what do you want to be, I don't know, I always say I want to be a businesswoman.
That's
Anyway,
interesting.
yeah. And so I think my brother did saw the opportunities that nursing offer in England, and he wanted me to pursue that. But I, for one reason, I just didn't just want to be a nurse, and I stick with the business. Well, I did even when, well, in high school I was a pure science student,
Hmm.
and he said to me like, you've got the grades to do the sciences, but I
Right.
just I was not convinced. I thought, right, I think I'll be better of being a business. And then like when I came to England those days, the banking industry was just booming in the Gambia. It was just starting, and my
Right.
eyes were like, when once I finished my course, I was going to go back to Gambia and maybe work in
Work.
one of the banks and all that. So my focus was based on like saying, okay, I'm going to do business, and hopefully I could get a job in one of the banks in the Gambia. But things
Absolutely.
change, and
A
yes,
dream that sometimes never come true is going
yeah.
back to work sometimes. That's thrilling. Before we go further, I really want you to say hi to our viewers in Mandinka. And so being nin Kadija Jabang Scatter Channel Bijang on GunjurBIz. GunjurBIz mu program ultimi alonko. Aka mol mini alonko bi business okono aka wole samananjang ni ediamu ngela inspirational jube mi tole business idea nying ya kumas wat jamale, and also ikabum program ole di protocol in service ole di na molla kadi jabang keta molti mi alon ko awuluta tujere ne na dena tamata kata England banko kan ay karan jamal ke bot sayin business la lo mi alon ko abe mago ke kan abe mu example ol di musole ani musunkutole mi alon ko ya lonko itol la hamom ni ne ke business woman ol di so kadi jaba mbe bisim la gunjur based program on into be is a in a very short franco is a na molminu benjibe kan is a high no.
Abubacarr akaja bediyare butu ngai yemi folondrong business o kabiri ndindin nonka lafta business school nka fengol mba maka ay bitikol soto so nka tara mako kan ala bitikoto yo nin jitas karambungo to nka ta nga mako ala bitikoto na ay kodindingo min akanjo minna nka ta nga fuga jayol sang ala tanje tujere ni tanje be nyobala la ngana nga awafi weekend o kono nga gunse grosuk nyol dada nga fendol dada domorol mi wo min be on fankola in min be available in doron ka ha nke wafi pour ka salba yol sang aning komin lafta business olal dal kabiri bari ala nata mako nata England nga kabiri nga kara nga business la fana kara so wo hanim be kara wala wato min fana nka fengol wafi nka mul kana fengol kinya nka yi wafi ye nka mfon ka fengol dada nka fengol sanke wafi kabiri wo wato damandin fo butu sayim be damin tote.
Yeah. So
mbafulela viewers ulbe ya baraka o ila nala kuruka na ila moyena. I hope they will learn something.
Yeah, deliberately I wanted that translated in Mandinka because I think that is crucial. We have a bunch of boys and girls that are going to school. They felt it's just go to school and come home and party and do stuff and drink a tire, not knowing people like you, like everyone else, went through a journey that was productive. That was just not only academics, but you go to school and you're able to buy those little things. You get money from your mom and go and do that. Even though we can say your business mind has traced back to your mom, but if you also look at it, it gives you us an insight on how to make someone successful. If you're going to school and you know that I am going to school, I want to do something. Why not, while you go to school, try to learn some skills or trade while you're going to school? This helps you to give you an insight on what to do tomorrow, what you have passion for, and also helps you in management skills. Like when you were young, I'm sure it was really hard to resist the urge and temptation of spending money, but you were just saving money so that you can buy yourself nice clothes and you can go sell stuff. So I think that's so inspirational that people don't have to wait to graduate from high school or college to start doing something. And I think that's very, very vital. Now, as we transition into your business life, say professional business life, if you like, how was your work experience like? That probably gave you a better experience and understanding to run an independently run business like Ethnic Isles as the founder of ethnicisles.com.
Oh well, I up till 2016 I had so much retail experience. I think since I came to England, I've only worked for two employers, and one of them being Tesco's, which is a #1 retailer in the UK. And I have from 2002 I have been in the retail sector, mostly as a team leader. I was a team leader for over 8 years, and then I was a checkout manager. So I had so much experience running a business from a corporate level, and but even when during my work while I was working at Tesco's, I think it was 2007. I took a career break to try and set up my own business then, and again that was online. It was online clothing shop, and I think I wanted to go out to a party, and then I sent some money back home to my sisters to make some clothes for me. So when the clothes arrived, they didn't fit me, they didn't size me. I've spent a lot of money, like I was so disappointed that the clothes arrived and they didn't fit me.
Right.
And I thought, right, okay, where could I get that? Where can I get anything to wear like that is African?
Mm-hmm.
That was all I wanted to wear. I wanted to wear an African. Normally those days, we will
Right.
go and get Asian clothes. Well, I will go and get some Asian outfits to go um, to parties, or you wear jeans. And I thought, right, okay, I want to this occasion I wanted to wear African. And
Right.
when the clothes arrived and it never sized me, spending all that money, I thought, right, okay, maybe they maybe if nobody's doing getting buying any clothes to sell them that are ready made, maybe I should look into that. So I took time off from work, and I went to Dakar that year, and then look into like how I can source some of those products to the UK market. And so I think those days my customer base were not ready for the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I found it very challenging to the supply chain was just something else. At some
Right.
point I thought, right, you know what, this is not going to happen. So I went back to work. And so in 2016, my husband felt ill. I had to take time off again to look after him. And so while I was looking after him, obviously both of us were off from work, so we had no income. Um, and so I was thinking, right, how are we going to sustain like staying at home? I wanted to make him the
Mm-hmm.
priority, like not going to work and coming back and having to look after and looking after 4 girls as well.
Right.
So I thought, right, those skills that I had, maybe look into like starting that same business again.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that will help me with distressing as well. Like give me the time to
Right.
switch off from
Mm-hmm.
the what was happening in the family then.
Right.
And that it did really keep me going. Yeah, I help organize some weddings, and I enjoy making clothes for people's weddings or naming ceremonies and all that. So that was kind of a therapy for me, as much
Mm-hmm.
as it was bringing some income to the
Right.
family. Yeah. And yeah, so I had some fun, some good times. And then I think the most exciting part is like meeting new people, the people that you
Right.
don't know at all. And you help them like be where they're best on their special days.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that I needed well, one of the things that keeps me going is like seeing that smile on somebody's face with a cloth designed by
Right.
myself, or yeah, that those are things that kept me going those days, those difficult days. So
I think
yeah. And
that's
the money was good. I thought, right, okay, you know what, I wanted to expand on it. Even then, I started to write some plans, some project plans on how to expand on that business, and
yeah.
how I can do more personalized clothing for more weddings outside of my inner circle or outside of the Gambian community, um, and all that. Yeah, so that that's how this new idea came in. So I thought, right, instead of going back to work, I wanted to go back to work when my husband got a lot more on his feet, and
Mm-hmm.
he was doing a lot more for himself, and he became a lot more independent. So I thought, right, okay, why don't I go back to work?
Right.
And so the while I was preparing to go back to work, and the pandemic started, um,
So
and
I,
obviously.
I, I was gonna transition into that in a bit, but I just
Mhm,
feel at this juncture want to recognize some of folks that are watching, just that it can be a little bit interactive. I
mhm,
know Khadijabang, there's a bunch of people saying good stuff about you. And Jammeh said, you studied business because you're passionate about it. So the word passionate, I think, is very, very important, whatever you're doing. If you're an IT guy, you got to be passionate about gadgets. You got to be passionate about a lot of things that are connected to that. So the word passion, I think, is the key if you're choosing any one or any trade. And we're having Amikole Baji. Well done, Kadi. May our dreams come true. May the Almighty continue. So a lot of goodwills out there. People wish you well, and I'm sure a lot of them watching because they're inspired by your story, your openness to discuss about things that were challenges in your life along the way, and you refuse to get broken by those circumstances. But you kept it going, kept your family together, and make sure that you were always innovative to look at ways that will help you to take care of your family, but it can also be therapeutic for you being engaged with other people and get you a little bit out of your zone that probably was challenging. And I'm sure a lot of people that know you have seen you go through those challenges and are thrilled to see you today narrating those stories. You mentioned something about working from behind the scene and your customers not being ready for online or for conventional ways of doing things or virtual. And now COVID hits. COVID was the craziest thing to ever happen. But for businesses, I think it also allows us to know there are more than one or two ways to do business. It kicks us out of our comfort zone to make us to think harder how to serve us because life is not going to stop. Life gotta move on, COVID or not COVID, it has to. But I think there are some challenges that obviously COVID had on especially businesses, but there might be some pretty good opportunities that it opened doors for, especially folks like you who've been just shipping to people on a personal basis. They will call you and say, "Hey, Kadi, I need an outfit for Tabaski or for Christmas or whatever." But COVID came, now they have to be because there is no that personal touch to say, hey, I would stop by your house and pick up my clothes, right? Now you have to deal with online, you have to deal with shipping, you have to deal with doing things, virtually. What do you think was the key element for you that was a positive thing during this pandemic that helped grow your business? Because obviously you have more time to think and do things because you stay home.
Yeah, I think with when the COVID came and they said we're not allowed to
To socialize.
to have any social gatherings, and then obviously my business was based mainly based on social gatherings, and I thought, right, okay, maybe the COVID is going to just be like a month or so, and then we can go back to normal, and then that just kept on. We still in the pandemic anyway, so I at some point, I think after a couple of months when there was no money coming in, I had to think again, right? Okay, how do we survive?
Hmm.
And I didn't want to risk going back to work, obviously, because Ibrahim's recovering, and then I don't want to put any hindrance on that journey, on that recovery journey. So I thought, right, okay, why don't I expand on my product range and then maybe go online? Because obviously during the at the beginning of the lockdown, it was crazy. Obviously it was new for everyone.
Hmm.
I couldn't go out, obviously, because they keep on sending us like text messages and all that to say you're high risk family, you've got to stay at home. So I had to
Right.
call friends to do my shopping for me.
Hmm.
And then obviously my shopping's like everywhere. I shop everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's hard to I used to I always bought
So,
a friend's husband. I was
sorry to interject. What shopping? Is it your groceries or your
yeah,
the
my,
things
my
that
my
you
grocery
buy and
shopping. Yeah,
okay?
my grocery shopping. I will I know, obviously I will go to, like, say, a place like Tesco's or to the main supermarkets and get my day-to-day food, or and then I'll go to African shops as well and get my African food. So when the pandemic came, it was hard to get access to my local food, and I thought, right, okay,
Hmm.
every time I check it online, I check some so if I do say Tesco delivery online,
Hmm.
there's hardly anything on the African section to be sent to me. So I thought, right, okay, why don't I just also go online and then expand, since nobody's buying any clothing these days, there's no social gathering. It looks like this is going to be a trend for the next couple of months until
Right.
we get out of the pandemic. I thought, right, okay, why don't I expand on my product range and then also see if I can tap into the online business again and see where that goes. So I spoke to few of my inner circles, and they all like were very supportive and said like, yeah, why don't you give it a try?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I reached out to Mr. Jammeh,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Oh, Mr. Jammeh, not
spoke to
me,
him.
okay? Just for
No,
our
no, not you. I'm
viewers.
talking about
So,
Lamin Jammeh.
yeah, so I'm just letting our viewers know it's not me.
No, no,
Just kidding.
Lamin Jammeh, of course, the my web designer, and I, uh, I reached out to him to ask him the possibilities of having a website.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've just had the idea in my head, and then I said, right, okay, this is what I want. He said, put it in writing and send it to me. So I started doing that. While I was doing that, I think he thought that I had everything ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him loads of I think I gave him like loads of sleepless nights designing the
Yeah.
website, because sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning I will think of something, and I'll wake up and write that down and then send that to him. Yeah. So I thought, right, okay, I think with right now with the kind of business that I do, I might not be able to have any income coming in. But if I expand and look into African food, hopefully that might be a new opportunity. And when I had the idea, I was thinking, right, okay, just if that doesn't work again, the online, who is going to buy online? Is it
Right.
do you have lots of Kadijabans out there who like to buy
Right.
online, or is it just a
Mm-hmm.
dream? Or so I started to do some research. I will call people around and say like, okay, if there's an online shop, what will you buy? Like if there's an African online shop, what will you buy? And then I started to come up with like a list of products that I thought that people like, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
getting um, from back home because of the
Right.
pandemic. And so it was hard to make a decision on like having to spend all the savings that we have on a business
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know if it's going to expand more than what I thought, or if it's even going to work, because most of my generation will source food from back home themselves, and then they would get that food, and they might not be buying the food that I was selling. So I thought, right, okay, if we build this website in a way that not just for us, but hopefully for people who might like African food, or who might be interested in African culture,
Right.
they would see, okay, maybe my ordinary customer or my ideal customer might know how to
Mm-hmm.
make mono, but somebody else might want to have a go at mono, and thought, right, okay. And I was thinking as well, like, okay, I might have the connection back home to source this food, to source food or other items from back home. But what about our kids? Will
Mm-hmm.
they have that connection to be asking their people from back home, or any aunties or cousins, to be sipping them food from back home? So I thought, right, okay, this might not like just work like that, but in the
Mm-hmm.
long term, I
Right.
think people, like say generation of my tea, that they might go online and
Mm-hmm.
think, right, okay, my mom used to make belachin. How do you go make belachin?
Right.
And hopefully ethnic aisles will come in their way, and they can buy the stuff. So I'm looking into more time in terms of like the website, how
Right.
if the success of the website, because right now
Mm-hmm.
my ideal customer,
Yeah.
the lots of issues with my ideal customers, we all used to buying from like the bigger supermarkets or the bigger monopolies like most of the in most cities you will have Asian shops that tap into the African market already,
Right.
and we're all used to going into the shop and then buy like your halal meat and everything else. So it is going to be hard. um I think it will take time for them to for that change of culture to happen, for
Hmm.
people to think, right, okay, if you think about African food, why don't I try ethnic aisle at least, instead of like just spending
Right.
all the money in with the Asian shops or with the mainstream
Yeah.
supermarkets. Why don't we also support the local communities or the local
Hmm.
business in our own communities? I think that
Correct.
will take time, but I think that will happen as well. As we go, I think that will happen. Our kids will source food from us, and hopefully, so that's so that if anyone wants to start up a business, don't just think, oh, um, you will not get the support from your community. I think you will.
Mhm.
You might not just get it like instantly, but I think
Right.
as time goes, people will buy online. More and more people will buy online.
Yeah, I think yeah, you're definitely right. I've seen people, I've seen stores here, especially Asian stores. I lived in Asia before, so I know how the food actually tastes. So when you say fried rice or something, probably the taste is a little bit different from the actual one in Asia because probably they don't have the real ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
But I think something you mentioned is that most of the Asian stores or international stores has already tapped into the Gambian market. They're providing things. I know one here that some women will just get in there. Hey, do you have kucha kucha? You know,
Mm-hmm.
she never had it. Eventually, after a few weeks, whoever walks into that store, hey, she'll ask you, do you want kucha? I have kucha, right? You don't even know where she got it from.
Yeah.
So I think that's innovative, but that also gives us an insight of the competition that we're gonna face. Um, I think it's just we have to continue to have faith on our people that they're gonna support our businesses. We do our best. I saw a bunch of comments that were, so proud of your and appreciative of your customer service. I think that's very, very important. That personal touch, that personal relationship with your customers and giving them things that they really want. I think in the long run, it helps to kick out the notion of cheaper or more expensive pricing as a factor to determine or to make a decision to buy something or not, which I think will, I mean, that relationship can really bridge that. So customers focused not going to be more on buying products that are more expensive, not more on pricing, but it's more of like the relationship and getting whatever you really, really want. Because some of the things I just realize, even Nana, sometimes the taste is even different from the one that we used to have in the Gambia, even though it might be the same. So before going down to the challenges that you guys face, because you always obviously get some stuff from the Gambia, and you told me some good story that I will really want to follow up on. Before that, I just want to remind our viewers that are just joining us that this is GunjurBIz show with Abubacarr on Gunjur Online. And our today's guest is no other person than Khadija Abang Scatrell Jammeh, the proprietor and founder of ethnicisles.com. If you want groceries, furniture, host of things that we cannot mention all of them, just go on www.ethnicisles.com and make your orders. And something important is I made an order 2 days ago. So it's not just when you live in the UK. You can be here in the United States, you can be in other countries and still place an order. So it is that simple and easy. Before we go down to things that you have on the website, you mentioned about, to me, this was on a conversation I had with you about either a brother or someone who harvested his groundnuts and stuff like that. And you talked to the person. I think this was that I was so inspired that you bring this locally produced stuff to the mainstream where I buy groundnut because my dad is a groundnut addict. I go to stores whenever I see fresh groundnut, am I gonna buy all of it? How did that? I mean, that was inspirational for me. I really want you to share that so people know some of this stuff that you sell are actually stuffs that were grown in the Gambia and they're available online for sale. And don't forget to mention about the Gunjur honey as well.
Yeah, I well, obviously, like I've ever had passion for business, and then y- when you're in business, it's not all about the money. Sometimes it's about
Hmm.
your relationship with people, or it's about what you like. And if you see something that you like and you really want to share it with your customers.
Hmm.
And when I wanted to go do the food line, I spoke to my sisters in the Gambia so they could help with the logistics. And then so my big sister mentioned that my brother had because I mentioned loads of, like, obviously every African like peanut butter or peanut paste and granite paste, and lots of, we like granite anyway. We like granite. I think not only Gambia but lots of
Hmm.
Africans like granite. So my sister said to me, "Listen, do you know your brother's farmed groundnut this year?" I said, "Right, really?" So I picked up my phone and I said to him, "Listen, that groundnut farm, how much will you sell it to me?" He said, "Right, okay, you're going to pay international market price, or you're going to pay the local price, market price?" But yes, I bought the whole groundnut farm from him. I said
Hmm.
to him, "Listen, so I will do my groundnut paste and my groundnut the roasted groundnut that I
Hmm.
sell, I stock, and all my groundnut products are going to be from his groundnut farm
Hmm.
until we exhaust that stock." So not only the groundnut, but most of the things, like there's a lady that did. I was told she did the bitter tomatoes, and I was
Hmm.
thinking, right, okay, I don't just want to buy the bitter tomatoes from her at the Gambian rate. I want her to also. I want her to have a little bit more than what she will get from the market, so
Hmm.
that hopefully next year she will
Hmm.
grow a lot more, because there's a big demand for bitter tomato,
Right.
the West African type of bitter tomato. I think there's a big demand of that in here. So I thought, right, how do we motivate women like her? I know her story. So how
Hmm.
do we motivate women like her to grow vegetables that we can also source and enjoy here? And hopefully they will get a lot more, a higher market price from people like myself. Obviously, I want to be fair to the local farmers that I deal
Hmm.
with. Not only in the Gambia, I source a lot from Senegal as well. And every
Hmm.
time I ask them, like, what is the price of this, and if they tell me, I normally will give them like a little bit more, so that just because I know I will make my money out of it, so that that motivates them to do a lot more. And they hopefully they can, because they if you look at the things that they do, how they farm the products is different from the way people farm here. So a lot of work goes into it. I think it's high time that Africans, a lot more of us, support our own businesses here, and then force our businessmen and women to source products from our local farmers back home, and make sure that they pay a little bit more than what they get, so that life can be a little bit better for them. And it was the same with the Gunjur honey. I thought, right, okay, everyone from Gunjur should buy this Gunjur honey, because it's better. It tastes better anyway. I'm sure the viewers that are watching that bought the honey, they know how quality. Everyone was asking me, why did you name it Gunjur honey? I'm like, okay, my heart is in Gunjur these days. But yes, Gunjur honey is from from a beekeeper in Gunjur as well.
Hmm.
Every time I go on holiday, I will buy the honey to use as my daily use. I like honey, so I thought, right, when I started the business, I thought, right, let me reach out to him and see if he could supply
Hmm.
some of the honey. Obviously, the looking at the supply chain on
Right.
the on the business as well. That's Africa could do a lot more to make life a lot more easier for the business, for farmers to ship their products to the
Hmm.
international market. I think there's a lot more. It's only us Africans. I think it's only us Africans that could do that for our farmers. I don't
Right.
think obviously every other country or every other continent would want to source from their own continents.
Right.
So why don't we also look into like how we support our local farmers so that life can be a lot more easier? I think the pressure will reduce on us if we create if we buy from our farmers. Obviously, they will have a lot more money than what they will expect, and that will motivate them to farm more. Because
Yeah.
nowadays nobody wants to go into farming now. Everyone wants to. All our youths want to go on the back way
Right.
and all that. So I was thinking, right, okay, if say ethnic isles expand in the next couple of years, I will want to work with lots of farmers, like local farmers, to source some of the products that we sell at a competitive price, so that they also enjoy the market price, the European
Right.
market price for their products.
It's amazing. It always triggers me to talk nonstop about how we are not taking advantage of the locally produced goods that we have in the Gambia. I remember as a young boy back home in Gunjur, how my mom used to produce a lot of tomatoes and this the raw thing, Pharisee or whatever you call it, and just
Yeah.
carry it, go 3 a.m. in the morning, go to Serekunda to sell it.
Mm.
um, if it is not sold out, then see through everything
It
away.
goes.
And
Mhm.
there's nothing that is just helping to support them for storages and also packaging and stuff. Obviously, we all lived in the Western world. Packaging is important, but standardization as well is important because these are foods. If they are not raw foods, these are foods that probably would have to come with we don't even know, some of them doesn't even have health benefits on them, right? Most of
Yeah.
these locally produced good the items have a very high reach of nutrients and all these health benefits from them. I had to watch the benefits of peanut butter soup on
Mhm.
Dr. Uzi's show, which someone flew to Gambia and tried it and all those stuff. So we have to think along that line, probably creating shows that talks about food benefits of our different Gambian foods. I think that's going to help to change people's mind, to sensitize them and understand that, oh, the mango that I'm eating every day, probably don't even know the one benefit of mangoes, right?
Mhm.
Oranges, you just go there, it all drops from the orange tree or mango tree, and it just all goes rotten. So that's why I'm inspired by you engaging as someone who to buy the whole ground or to harvest from him, but also going further and be brave to challenge people that are into business to buy from these local producers at a competitive rate that will help to sustain them. So our families, because we're all from different and extended family system, we can have a little bit of breathing space when it comes to demands financially and things of that nature. And someone, before we go further, Jammeh mentioned something pretty interesting here. He says, I believe in case of changing the mindset of our communities, like even in the US here and everywhere, they encourage people to buy local. That's why in different parts of the world they give some tax breaks to the locally owned businesses. They are proud of them. You see the presidential campaign. Most of the presidential nominees will make a stop at the locally owned, not at GMC headquarters or Apple or something of that nature. So I think what you mentioned here is pretty interesting. And
Yeah,
I
and
was
just Abubacarr, to add on a little on that. I just believe that it's not just the business owners as well, but the consumers as well. We've all got to help out and
Mhm.
think about, if you eat mango, why don't you think about like eating a Gambian mango, not eating any kind of mango? Nobody's going to fight our corners for us. Nobody's
Right.
going to help our and that paying that extra 10p or 20p to a
Hmm.
Gambian farmer, is it
Hmm.
not worth it? Thinking
Absolutely.
about like also helping, and I think it's about time that our generation, we
Mm-hmm.
have access to all these, and we know, I think we have access to so much information. We know
Mm-hmm.
the health benefits of like eating, say, a good peanut butter. Obviously, the peanut butter that we buy from Tesco's, and they're all full of sugar if you look at the sugar content. But thinking about like the peanut butter that we source from the Gambia, for
Mm-hmm.
example, there's nothing, there's no added sugar in it. It's just purely um, peanut butter, or it's purely honey. Say, for example, the honey from Gunjur is pure honey. So
Mm-hmm.
is it not about time that we all start to think and say, right, okay, why don't I pay an extra 10p
Mm-hmm.
to Gambian businessmen, and also not only paying them that extra, but make sure you challenge them to ask them. I think it's a long way, but yes, we can all start to play our part and ask, where is this mango from, or where is this honey from, or where is this particular thing from? And then hopefully things will start to get better for our farmers back home. And then, if I think it's the lack of hope. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
look, is there's so much that we're comfortable here, and then we saying to our cousins back home, oh, don't use the back way. How are they
Right.
not going to use the back way if they don't have any opportunities? And the main, like, say, employment for Gambians, the main source of employment for Gambians, farming. So why don't we all contribute and support the farming sector, so make sure that they get access to these markets here. We can all play that part. I think we is our responsibility, all of us, to
Yeah.
buy at least on a daily basis, use one product from the Gambia, or from
Mm-hmm.
Senegal, or from your own country
Right.
of origin, and hopefully that will bring some change around Africa.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. Back where you mentioned it has a connection to everything, especially business. I know it's a personal choice and decision because the money that you're spending on that, you can invest that on something. But one thing that I believe too is, which I really share with you, if we don't have something that is stronger that keeps them back home, compared to the urge that they have to get them to risk their lives, they're always gonna go and risk their lives. So let's have something for them, and those who are into the business, they are producing. Let us pay them, and on a price that worth it. Zainab Fal, one of our viewers, um, made a comment saying, buying and supporting the locally producers is the way forward. We thank all of them. So yeah, supporting local producers is the way forward. She is give you a thumbs up on that.
Thumbs
So
up.
yeah, I think we have a bunch of folks that are making comments. Khalifa Sao, the Fair Trade, and the Great Initiative. Kadi, everyone is proud of you. So this is what we want. Khalifa operates a grocery store, and it's just amazing to see young folks, our generation coming together, everyone playing your part, creating employment. But the only process, helping people back home. You don't have to send them money,
Yeah.
just like that, but they can produce something that you can buy from them. Once they expect that, they're gonna go produce more. Like, you encourage them to do more, and of that. So the biggest challenge, if you especially sits in America or in the UK, and you tell people, hey, you can make it back home, right? The biggest challenge is like, why didn't you come back? And this is a notion that we have to continue to address. This is not as easy as many people think, because of family commitments and things that happens along the way when you live in abroad. But that doesn't mean people cannot advise you that you can make it back home. And one of the ways that you can help to nurture that concept is to support them in whatever they do. But I know comes with buying products from the Gambia, is to be specific, or Senegal, comes with challenges, right?
A lot.
Food contamination, lack of standardization, lack of acceptance in the foreign markets, And I think if non-Gambians try Gambian food, they always 99% of the time love it, because we really very clean and take care of the things that we do. We cook food very well and put the right ingredients. But coming down to the challenges of importing food, or products from the Gambia to the UK, considering the cost, the logistic nightmare, and things like that? What are some of those challenges that you probably think young entrepreneurs or people that are in business faces in shipping goods from the Gambia to the UK, for instance?
In terms of, I think, even before, well, since ever since I know, I've been doing business, the supply chains. That was the reason why I quit the other online store
Mm-hmm.
that I set up like in 2007.
Right.
The logistics of getting things together in Africa to get them to Europe
Right.
is a nightmare. It's a
Mm-hmm.
complete nightmare. You can spend a fortune on say shipping something, and because I think the startup, if your startup money is not, if you don't have a huge startup capital, obviously
Mm-hmm.
you've got to ship things like, say, on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, or depending on, and they can be very costly. And then so when you get the products, and you've got to also look into all the costs that involves to make up the price of that particular item. So that makes it almost impossible to compete with like the bigger players who will get, like, say, bring a container of, like, say, dry fish or smoked fish or fresh fish, um, and then so if your price is a little bit higher than your competitors, obviously, I think right now, because most of us are like migrants, obviously we want to save that extra penny. We tend not to think about say, okay, that 20p extra that see add on top of the normal price, obviously is on, or is the shipping of the goods. So you lose your customers just for like a 10p margin, or a 20p difference between your price and the bigger monopolies. And you will say, for example, some of us will rely on freighting to, and you some days you will go take your stops and they will tell you the scanner's broken, like the
Right.
scanner at the Gambia airport has been broken for the
Yeah.
past 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And those are not acceptable, for Gambian products. Obviously, if we're serious about like having our products shipped to international markets, obviously we've got to do a lot more than what we are doing, in terms of like things like, obviously that is not my responsibility to fix this scan. I think it's
Right.
um, the airport's responsibility to
Responsible.
fix those scanners so that we could get the food. Obviously, I've had people ordering catfish for the
Mm-hmm.
past 3 weeks. I couldn't get access to it. I couldn't get hold of the catfish. So all the money that I spent on the catfish is still stocked in Gambia.
Right.
No, no chance of reaching the UK because the scanner's broken for the past 3 weeks. So there are lots of problem on the supply chain, and sometimes, like, say, for example, on the clothing side, I have to, well, I had to learn Wolof quicker than um, obviously people from Gunjur cannot speak Wolof, so I had to learn a lot more quicker to learn how to communicate with other suppliers in terms
Senegal.
of like sourcing the source of like what you want. And sometimes, you can have a big wedding, and the clothes will come and then the sizings like issues. So there's a lot of things that African manufacturers need to work on, like
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned, labeling and packaging. The past couple of weeks I've not had a life. I had to do all my packaging because I wanted my products to go in a package. And
Mm-hmm.
all of that could have been avoided if we had like I think if we have proper businesses set up in the Gambia. Say, for example, like, to be quite honest, let me say Senegal's like way higher in terms of like getting things from. I wanted to order some kaba from the Gambia, and
Right.
somebody mentioned a lady called Kabagal, but the packaging that she used, I cannot use that.
Right.
I cannot use that packaging for my. So we need like Gambian manufacturers or Gambian producers also need to work on some of those things to make life a lot more easier, or to get their products more accessible. Like I just bought some kaba from Senegal. It came in a jar, and it is preserved and all that. It's got like the European standard labeling and all that. So it does help. I think if, say for example, somebody help, I don't know what the what ways or what help is there in
Yeah.
terms of like helping um the manufacturers to package their products for the international market. But I think that could be avoided, or that could we could all work together and get some of those, and then hopefully maybe I was thinking as well, like there are lots of smaller distributors here as
Mhm.
well. Maybe if we get like a bigger supplier, or get these items to be supplied in larger quantities, instead of like
Mhm.
um everyone bringing their small shipments in smaller quantities. Obviously, that
Right.
increase the price for the consumer. You've got to bear that in mind. So the shops or the African suppliers, no, why don't they also look into like maybe forming something, so that we can get access to the products that we all sell in
Mhm.
larger quantities, and then hopefully, instead of like somebody else also doing that for us, it's like we like to wait until we cannot do anymore that before we do
Right.
things. But I think I think as business owners,
Mhm.
your sourcing of product, obviously, is always an issue for any business owner. So
Correct.
if say for example we have an association of business owners that say stock in kaba, or stock in say Maggi or something, that I think hopefully that might make life a lot more easier for ourselves, and then it might make life a lot more easier for the consumer, because the price will be cheaper, and hopefully they can also say, okay, you know what instead of going into the Asian shops or into the mainstream supermarkets, why don't I just get these from my local business men and women?
Right.
So there's a lot in terms of the supply chain. Really, we can do a lot more.
I always like to talk about supply chain and also the logistics management, especially when it comes to the Gambia, because there is so many bunch of challenges. Products are lying there, right? But I think it just involves so many players and lack of organization. Like you mentioned something that is very important. I've always preached that small business should have associations that works in their interest, that has their interest at heart, having all the members as part of that group. So say everyone is struggling with one part of things, they can come as an organization and approach, and even can create a company out of that. Because I feel that I'm hoping someone is watching us that can just sit and say, you know what, I'm going to create a company that will make shipping costs more efficient, effective, timely, and affordable. Because sometimes it's not even about money if you get the capital to get these stuffs from the Gambia. It goes way beyond that, like things of scanner issues that are beyond your control. But it's only organizations that can help to address those issues in partnership with all players in the market, which is going to be a work in progress. And I'm hoping somebody can do that. You mentioned something about people coming together and do things. If you go to China right now, it takes about 13 to 14 hours to fly from New York to Beijing. It's really far. Gambia is just a next door to UK. Just few hours, under 8 hours, you're home. And what I've seen many people do in China is that you have a bunch of small businesses. Some of them are not even registered small business. They sit in their bedrooms, take orders from people, but they have a larger, bigger company that does shipping. So if you have, say, somebody just ordered a pen from you, and another person ordered something, say honey, from you, we all go to that store and give it to them and pay very, very little amount of money as shipping cost. So they bundle it together. When it comes to the US, they just distribute. They have agents here that just distributes to individuals. So people gotta think outside the box and just be able to invent things that's gonna make life easier, because there is so much that we can do together when we get organized. And I think some of these things, hopefully, someone is watching or listening that can think along that line. I know we don't have
Yeah.
some here today, but yeah, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I was saying, I was going to say, like, the other challenge I think is the my, like, say, my ideal customer. Um, they This is for the online business, specifically. The Like, say, my ideal customers, they some of them, they don't have any, um they're not used to shopping online, or they're not comfortable using the online tools to shop online. And
Mhm.
so there's a lot of challenge for me in terms of like having to um, coach people instead of like spending the
Mhm.
time setting up the business. I'm coaching people on like how to use the
Make orders.
software, which I don't mind
Good.
at all, because obviously, like I said at the beginning, I like that personal touch, as long as they start to be comfortable not only using my website but using other websites as well. Onto
Yeah.
But some people could feel embarrassed to ask, and that could stop them from making the purchase online. And I'll say to them, like, listen, if you don't, if you're not comfortable shopping online, just reach out, and then I will hopefully talk you through on how to use the website. I think the website, to be quite honest, is very user friendly, easy to use. So I've had loads of issues with, like, oh, I cannot place
Order.
this order. Or sometimes I'm thinking, right, it's just it will take time and people will
Hmm.
get used to it. But I'm also relying on, like, not only my network but anyone that's watching, to also encourage customers to go and to visit the site, and hopefully they might see something that might interest them, and they might make a purchase on, because obviously my ideal customer, or the customer that my targeted customers, most of them already have that culture of like going into bigger supermarkets. So I wanted to change that mindset for them
Right.
to think, like, if they think of most right now, some people think of like, oh, eat clothes, contact Kadi, yeah. Okay,
Hmm.
I want people to also start thinking, okay, African food online, think ethnic aisles,
Right.
and hopefully more stores, or more suppliers will show up, and then the prices will be competitive. And like, oh, we might have, like you just mentioned, somebody that might be supplying like at a cheaper price, and then obviously our customers can also enjoy that competitive price,
Oh yeah, I
and
love the Black Friday.
they can shop from us. Yes.
I love the Black Friday offers that you had. So that was pretty nice. And I am, yeah, this was going to be our last set of questions on ethnic ads, things that people can get and the challenges that you face. I think it might take a little bit time, but people are getting more comfortable buying things online. It just reminds me when the ATMs were newly, installed in the Gambia, how people prefer to hand off cash and go
Mhm,
withdraw it, join the
mhm,
queue like at the end of the year, I mean month,
mhm,
for the pay period. They just go and stand in the queue for like 30 minutes, 1 hour, just to wait for
mhm,
something that they can just go and cash. But because of the comfort level and the exposure wasn't there. So I'm sure it's gonna pick up, because if you're watching us, this is pretty simple. You go to www.ethnicisles.com and you just have some beautiful photos, the groceries, the clothing, the furniture, locally produced goods, stuff from the Gambia and across the world. This shoots Africans, Caribbeans, and the people that lives anywhere in the world. So it's pretty simple. It's just, if you know what you're doing, you just click on whatever you want, and there is a bar that you cannot miss anything. Once you hit on what you want, say, I want to buy honey, and I'll hit that, then It brings it down, you add it to your cart, and then all you need is just put your full name, your address, your card information, and once everything is done, when you hit enter, it buys on your behalf and it sends you an email to confirm purchase. And then, depending on what you choose, either pickup or delivery, it will be delivered, it will be shipped to your address. So it's pretty simple. My last question to you would be, before we wrap up, is what are some of the key products that you have that are available? And how someone, if I sit here and said, oh, Ethnic Isles, she is the proprietor of ethnicisles.com, what are the range of products that are available for sale?
Well, I on we stock lots of clothing. There's
Hmm.
I think a variety of clothing line on the site. Say already made, or like the Bamakos, or the ones, the laces and all that. And they I did say, like, any Gambian that has got an idea or has got something that they also want to sell, and or they doing and they want to work with me, I'm happy to do that. And there's a range, the Aja's range on there. She's got some evening dresses,
Hmm.
and we stock that on the website. And there's some food from a lady in Leeds, Ajifatu. She sell the pepper sauce and other stuffs. We stock that as well. So if there's anyone out there who's selling things that could be sell online, hopefully we can all work together and then create the likes of Amazon or eBay. We shouldn't just rely on. I think Africans we should start to think, how do we keep the wealth within ourselves or within our own
Right.
little communities.
Hmm.
Then how do we, all the time now? Before, I used to just go out and spend my money like that, but nowadays I'm conscious of, like, I go where I shop. I
Right.
want my money to stay within my own communities. I want to create wealth
Hmm.
for the African community, be that Gambian or Senegalese or whoever, as long as I just thought, like, it's about time that also
Yeah.
we stand and help each other. So I stock loads of products from other businesses, like the ones that I've just mentioned. So if there's anyone out there who also want to work with me, I'm more than happy. There's a lady from Senegal that I work with as well. I stock loads of things for her as well. So the website's not just about me. It's about I want to see this as about all of us. If you
Yeah.
have something and you think the public will want to buy it, why not?
Hmm.
Instead of, like,
Before you even go further, I think that was a relevant question that I was going to ask. Just after this, someone, Isa Cham, mentioned about working in partnership might be the future. I think these are strategic partnerships that are very, very relevant, and I just wanted to throw that out there because I was
yeah,
going to ask about that. So this is, you are empowering others and creating that avenue of strategic partnership, so we all excel. Go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, and obviously, with, like, with online shopping, I understand, like, okay, we like to touch products and like see where is, like, how it feels and all that before we make a decision. I think sometimes we all like but sometimes I think I'm asking our viewers, or I'm asking. I think it's about time we also start to think, okay, eh, right, if she stock this item, why don't I just try it? And then hopefully with the COVID around,
Hmm.
there's only a few people touching your item, so you might just come to you with COVID free. Hopefully, there's no
Right.
there's that will reduce our chances of, they said, oh, black people have um more higher risk than any other race. So how do we reduce that? All of that brought this idea of the website. So yes, if partnership I look forward to partnerships. I think there's a lot of work that goes into a website. Obviously, not only a website, but into any business. So sometimes it's good when you have people, like-minded people like myself, to work together, and then hopefully some of the things could be shared, and then the success, we never know who's going to benefit at the end of the day with it. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our last comment we're gonna read is from Fatu Sis, has been following us since we started the program. Says Jabamar is breaking barriers. I just specifically think that is very, very true. Just knowing your story, and as a female in a male dominant setting that is trying to bring out all these ideas, empowering other people, creating platform for so many people out there. And I think that's, thank you very much, Fatou Cisse. And we have another one. Okay, the operator is getting us to read more. Well done, my darling. We have Cham's Kitchen. That sounds as no business owner. And another one, Yama Juara, says frozen food, dry
I know she would
food.
mention the adult corner.
Absolutely.
I
So,
just that's Yama's favorite corner anyway.
right, Yama will be waiting for everyone who is buying from there. And another comment, just to interact with our followers, says, "Proud of you, Kadi." That's from Fatu Ture of Kerfatu. Thank you. We're glad you're following, and it's just an amazing, show to see people, especially female entrepreneurs like Fatu Ture, Khadija Banks Catrell, Janice, the likes of Fatu Cameras, the likes of many, many hosts of others that are into business. And we are proud that our sisters can do this well, and we will continue to be here to support and help them in their journey of that. And that brings us to the end of the show, and I want to give you one more round to, just give us a recap on, what you want our viewers to see, especially when it comes to ethnicisles.com, and what you look forward to, I'm sure, towards a very good business year, and also a fruitful partnerships with your strategic partners, but most importantly with your customers. So the floor is yours for the final.
Well, Abubakar, I want to thank all the viewers for tuning in, and I'm not going to speak just about ethnic isles, but I think as Africans we gamble too much on on prayers. We
Mhm,
will pray and pray and pray, but I think it's about time that we all start to think, okay, how am I going to spend my money? Can the wealth not stay within the African communities? And
mhm.
hopefully that will change, make things a lot more better for Africans all over, anywhere, wherever we are. I think it's about time. It's about time that we stop the culture of just praying and expecting God to send angels for us to buy from businesses like myself, or any other business that's out there. I think if the ideas are there, lots of Africans are doing fantastic things. I think it's about time we not just pray, but we practicalize those prayers. I think
Mhm.
sometimes we pray too much and think, right, okay, angels are going to be sent down to buy
Yeah.
from our own businesses. But yes, I think we should all challenge ourselves and make sure that once in a while, or not only once in a while, let's say at least every week, you buy from a Gambian business, or from an African business. If you're from another, let's buy from each other and see what will happen. I think there's a lot that we can do together if we support each other. There's a lot of things that can happen if partnerships happen, or
Mhm.
if Africans also start to ask about the source of what they eat, the source of their
Correct.
food that they eat. So there are lots of opportunities on the on online. We can also explore it, especially the ladies. There are lots of things that we can do together, or we can do if we just do it. If you think, okay, I want to do something, and you're not sure. There are lots of people out there. I was not sure of my idea at the beginning. I reached
Hmm.
out to some good friends that said, right, okay, you know what, I think this would work. Let's just try and see where it will go. And I think I'm proud of like what how the amount of support that's
Right.
coming from the community, and
Hmm.
to say thank you to all of them, and to continue to enjoy their customs, and yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I can't agree with you more. You mentioned on your closing remark about how we have to try to keep the wealth going around, revolving around. If you this is not tribalist or whatever, but it's high time Africans support each other and develop and uplift each other. Shop African, because that wealth is going to trickle down to the families and to other people that as a form of revenue for our brothers and sisters. If you go to anywhere in the world, say just look at Asian community or the Arab community, you will see that if they have a store, just go and look at the delivery driver. If they go to the White House to get their goods, probably the delivery driver is from their community. The people unloading the goods are their folks. Maybe at some point you will see some people doing sales in the store that probably because of the demand that they couldn't meet is from somewhere else. But most of the time, the people that did, and in different communities, like those are things that are relevant and people being making best use of so that they can keep the wealth around and revolves around that trickles down and empower other people. And I am so you can just say a final goodbye, and then I'll do my closing remarks, and that will be it. It was just amazing being with you.
Yeah, I wanted to say again thank you to the viewers for tuning in, and just let's continue to believe in ourselves. I think we only have one life, and then nobody's going to live your life for you. You've got to do what you've got to do. If you believe you've got something that you can do, just do it. It doesn't have to be business. It could
Hmm.
be like maybe organizing businesses to form organizations, whatever you're good at. I'm sure we all have a skill. We all have a skill set that we underestimate. So let's use our skill set and make sure that we help our community. I think that's the only way we're going to get out of the poverty that we, the Black community, are in. Even in the Western world, that we think people think, oh, we are better off, or we are life is a lot more better. The Black community or the Black societies are like at the very bottom of
Right.
those. So how do we it's our responsibility. I'm challenging all of you to start thinking. If you start spending your money, how do you spend your money? Where you spend your money? Can you not help a brother, or can you not help a sister? Can you not even if sometimes it's not about just spending, sometimes just get up and support one business, maybe do a promotion for
Hmm.
or for Kerfatu, or do something for another business. Like let's make things happen. Let's let's support each other, and hopefully things will happen. I am really thanking Abubacarr for inviting me. I was really not sure, like, oh, I thought I waffle a lot, so let me not come to a show like this. But yeah, I think I want to thank my friend Mariama Juara also for motivating me and pushing me and say, right, listen, you can do this, go.
Hmm.
And I think we will enjoy your waffles. Go and waffle, and then yeah.
Absolutely. We're
Thank
going
you.
to
And
have you
yeah,
as
I
a
also wanted to thank Lamin Jammeh, to be quite honest. He has been so amazing with
right.
I think I gave him loads of gray hairs in the past couple of months. Yeah. I sometimes I would assume that he knows things, and then he will call back and say, listen, what's this? I'm thinking, right, don't you know this? Are you not Gambian? But yes, and I wanted to thank my husband as well. He has been so amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, setting up a business, you need the time to yourself, and
Hmm.
he will make sure that I have enough time to do whatever I want to do, looking after the girls, entertaining them, and
Hmm.
helping with the domestic. Obviously, we have storage issues. those are all the challenges that we have. Lots of issues with deliveries when they come in. I'm thinking, right, the
Right.
house is too small. Sometimes we want to just run away from our house.
Yeah.
But yes, I want to thank him for the support. I hope he continues to make the meals in the next couple of months until I settle.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Khadija Scatrell, Jammeh, the proprietor of ethnicisles.com. You can make your orders right after this show and just go and have us the varieties of products that are on display. So, Khadija, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. Viewers, that is it for today on GunjurBIz. Sure, our guest today, we had Kadi, the Ethnic Isles proprietor, who's joining us, a trailblazer in this industry. We're not definitely disappointed. It's been an amazing conversation that we had on the business area from her childhood days back home in the Gambia, moving down to the UK and getting inspirations from her mom who was a petty trader who was giving her some money to buy the stuffs and sell them based on the demand while she goes to school. Then moved down to the UK, went to school, but still got to do business from behind. Now she's gone live and created a website called ethnicisles.com that gives you varieties of products from furniture, um, produces from the Gambia, groceries, outfits that are shown in the Gambia. And now she makes that available to you. And that's it for the business side today. One thing I wanted to do today is to actually, on behalf of Gunjur Online, to encourage all our viewers out there to take this thing seriously. Wear your mask, please. Wear your mask. COVID is real. And this is from us at Gunjur Online. I was a victim of COVID. I was positive of COVID and I was isolated for over 3 weeks. I nearly lost my life. I don't want anyone or any family member to go through that where you can be isolated and you don't have the opportunity to see your family, your kids, and all that. Take it seriously, especially our communities. Kadi mentioned earlier how we are the most vulnerable because most of us works in places that are of high risk, and we are at the top of it. That we most of us work in the stores, in the home cares, and all those kind of stuff. So this is just not business. But for us to be able to be there for our families and to be able to continue to do what we are doing for our families, play with our kids and all that, please take your mask seriously. Stay away from strangers. Stay home as much as you can. And this is just an advice from Kunjur Online. And thank you so much for joining us. I thank my producer today for having so much patience with us. It's been 1 hour, 30 minutes since we started the show, but it was thrilling. It was amazing. It was energetic and it was refreshing to talk to female entrepreneurs that are making so much good stuffs in our communities, in our countries. And that's from us today on GunjurBiz. Thanks so much and hope to see you soon on our next edition of GunjurBiz. Go and follow us on our Twitter handles, Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram for any updates on the news, sports, politics, social, religious activities, and all those kind of things. So we'll see you soon. And you all have a great rest of your night. Bye bye.